Hi, I'm Rob,
And I'm Angie.
and together we are
TwinFinity.
TwinFinity.
We are back with another question and answer, and we're both ridiculously giddy tonight because we're tired. So, oh my God, you guys are in for, I don't know if it's a treat or a nightmare or what.
Yesterday was Angie's birthday. Yesterday was also the day we've got this tower downtown Calgary. It's 55 stories tall, and we climbed the interior stairs of this tower because it's a event that happens every year. We climbed that last night. I went up it twice, and Angie went up
802 stairs.
802
Rob
stairs
did
times two, and Angie went up as well. And then, of course,
just once because I'm not crazy.
we went out after that and celebrated birthday with supper and all sorts of sugar and stuff, and stayed up way too late. And now we're both tired and just yeah. Okay, she's fine. I'm not.
I was fine until I got home. Now, first of all, we got to address when I got home. Okay, we're going to tangent, hopefully not too much in this video.
This whole video is a tangent to start with right now.
I want to say a few things, but before I go there, I have to say, I just walked in the door like, 15 minutes ago?
Yeah.
You were actually home before me, and I had to laugh at Rob because he's got his blue headband on, his blue shirt on, and you can't see, but he's got blue shorts on. And I walked in the door, I'm like, wow, you're quite coordinated. So why Rob's in his fancy little getup is he's going to badminton after we do this video. So don't mind Rob in his little headband. This is Rob's normal attire.
It's a nice headband.
It's pretty fancy, that blue.
Yeah, it is. I don't get to wear this one very often, especially to badminton.
Yeah. And now, while we're talking about clothes, we really will get to like some real stuff here in a minute. While we're talking about clothes, though, I swear to God, we do own other things than pink and blue. I swear.
I have yellow.
You might hardly ever get to see it because I don't know why we always end up in pink and blue, and we don't even try.
I have orange.
I was going to wear blue today, but I was going to meet a friend that I haven't seen in years. And I'm like, no, she won't recognize me if I'm in a different color than pink. I got to wear pink. So I'm actually wearing the same sweater that we wore for our last video, the video we did outside on the rocks a week ago.
I have black.
Yes, you do. So we really own other clothes. You might not believe us, but pink and blue is just what we tend to wear because we're pink and blue people without even trying.
I have tan and brown.
That's true. Now, before we get on too many tangents, because we're both a little squirrely tonight, wanted to address a few things. First of all, wanted to say a nice welcome to our new people on our Facebook page, as well as our YouTube channel. Welcome. Thank you for connecting with us. Thank you for subscribing. We love having you. We love sharing our energy with you, and we love connecting with you. So happy to have you along for our crazy rides. Also, we mentioned a little while ago, we did a live video on Facebook to share about our Abraham Hicks experience. We went to see them in, I always say them, it's her, but I count Abraham as more than one, so I say them.
I think it's them. It's many thems, actually, just all channeled through one speaking voice.
Yes. And we did a live video on Facebook, and I said to our YouTube watchers that I would figure out a way to get it on YouTube. There apparently is a super easy way, but it's not working for me. I don't know why. I have tried and tried and tried, and it should be simple, but it's not. So I will keep trying. I have not forgotten. If I can ever get it to work, I will gladly post it on YouTube for you YouTube people. I'll do my best. I think that's all. Oh, no, I have one more announcement. See, this is why I have notes, because otherwise...
And this week I don't even have to read them for you.
Well, let's hope not. Last time we did a question and answer, I was the loopy one and Rob was the stable one. Now, I don't know if there's either of us that's stable tonight. I have started, by inspiration, doing just quick little tidbit videos, if we want to call them that. Just sharing a little tidbit bit of inspiration that comes through. I've only done 2 so far, so if you haven't seen them, feel free to check them out if they resonate. I may do them all the time. I may just do them once a week. I have no idea. I'll just do them when I feel inspired. So who knows? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm all done.
Okay.
Okay.
Shall I read a question?
Yes, that's probably a good idea.
Yep, 5 minutes in. We're finally getting to a question. We'll survive.
Announcements are required sometimes.
That's true.
It's just the way it is. Okay.
First question.
Yes, please.
My twin flame is married and he is 44 years old. He also has 2 young children. I am 52 and have no children. I did not have children because in all the relationships I had, I never found what I was looking for, the deep connection.
Mm-hmm.
I was never the woman who desperately wanted a child. I only wanted them if there was a huge love bonding. But now I don't feel like having small children around, and he has 2 little ones. I feel I don't have the power nor the will to deal with children. So what to do? On one hand, I would like to be with my twin, and on the other hand, I don't feel capable of handling children. Please help. He also told me that he spoke to his wife and they have an open relationship and both set the other one free to start and redo their life. I told him I was not going to enter these relationships for my respect, the wife's respect, and the children's respect. What is it about twin flames and children? They either really, really love children and have children and base their life on them, or they seem to just not want to have children around. Not that twin flames seem to be sociopathically unchildren friendly. They just don't want children in their lives on a daily basis. It's a casual observation.
Well, I think just some people intuitively know children aren't part of their path because of what they're going to be called to do in their twin flame work, maybe.
For me, I just always felt that I just didn't have the patience or concentration or desire to pour my life into raising children. It's for me, I've always thought of it as being a major a major commitment, super major commitment. And I just never wanted to go there. I just never had the desire to commit my life in that direction. So I stayed away from having children myself.
As usual, we have a
But
dog that's
yeah,
restless.
dog just happy to see us down here on the floor where we're reachable. No,
So
but
she can lick your legs again.
so yeah, I can understand why a person would not want to have children around, especially if they feel they've got like major mission and other life purpose to work on. Myself, I never felt like having children because I never really felt up to it. Although I did get involved in relationships that had the other person's children. So I wasn't that opposed to having children in my life. But yeah, it does take energy.
And I was going to comment, it's quite often in a twin flame dynamic that there is something about the other person that is normally a deal breaker. So with any other person in your life, you'd just be like, no, sorry, and you'd walk away from the connection. But a twin flame, you're willing to sort of work through it somehow. And that's because it's your twin flame. That's because there's the deeper connection. So we are often challenged with things, or at least one thing in the connection, where we're like, God, this isn't what I want, but it's my twin flame. What do I do?
Whether it's children that's the challenge, or maybe the edge of poverty that's a challenge. That's very, very real. Or whether it's geography that's a challenge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or whether it's in a part of the world where there's social or political unrest. There's all sorts of challenges. There always seems to be a major focal point challenge.
And I think, oh, sorry, go ahead.
The learning point.
Yep. And I think what it also is too is a challenge of how much do we really love this person? How valuable is the connection to us? Are we willing to work through a challenge in order to have that deep connection? So yes, you've had other relationships, but they weren't deep enough to want to have children. And now you have this person that you have that deep connection with, but they already have children. You're like, now I'm older. I don't really want children in my life. And hey, God, no judgment at all. I so get it. We both don't have children. We both consciously chose not to have children. But what?
And every so often we thank each other for that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Sounds bad. We're horrible.
We'll be out in the mall or wherever, and there'd be a kid screaming, and we'll be like, "Thank you."
Of course, we still have empathy for those who are having to deal with the screaming from a point of view of that's their children.
Yes, I spent many, many years of my life working with children, so I know the challenges and the blessings that come from them. But I certainly understand where you're coming from, being, in your midlife at this point of your age, going, I don't really want children around. Totally get that. Where the universe might be challenging you, though, is how much do you desire this connection? And sometimes we have hurdles that we have to get past in order to work through that, whether it is, like also in your situation, a marriage. So addressing that piece, I really liked, what is the exact words? I told him that I'm not going to even enter this relationship for my respect, the wife's and the children's respect. Kudos to you. That, I think, is beautiful, the way it's said. You value all of you. Not just you, not just your twin, not just the wife, not just the children. You value everybody enough that you want this person as a whole, connected being to share a relationship with, or no thank you. You don't want to be half a piece with another woman on the side and children on the side. Wow, that is so beautiful of a way to honor yourself and honor everybody else, I think.
I totally agree. Can I go out on a limb?
Of course, always. That's what you do.
I'm gonna get myself in trouble.
Yeah, that's what you do too.
Yeah, I'm good at that. I hear back from that every so often. Rob says something controversial. A lot of people come to this world and live a life where they're in the middle stages of their journey of living, where they're still not ready to ascend and stay ascended into the fifth dimension and beyond. And a lot of people do go through that middle stage, needing to learn about love, needing to learn about compassion. And in many ways, having families and children is a great way to challenge and learn and understand the dynamics of those learnings. For people who are on a twin flame journey, which according to the reports, I cringe at this a little bit. People who are on the twin flame journey have a tendency of being in the middle towards the end of their times of living. They probably have had those learnings, but they're having to do a lot of the inner work on themselves, which having families around would actually get in the way of those final stages of learning, where they're in a time where they need to stay focused on those final bits of themselves to be a completely whole, very well learned soul. So maybe the twin flame journey is one that's more focused on self-learning, self-teaching, and self-understanding. And a lot of the lessons learned possibly in previous lives have been learned well enough that maybe having families is not an essential part of this life's lessons and journey.
Okay, but for her situation, if she wants to be involved with her twin flame, there's kids involved. So it's not, that doesn't apply to her.
Unless it's a bridge. You gotta remember the soul is in two bodies.
Right.
There might still be some learnings from having children around, as well as bridging into.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Trying to bridge into the section of learnings in life where you're more focused on cleaning up and tidying up things with the self.
Gotcha.
So.
And I'm glad you addressed that part, because that brings another piece that I was going to say is oftentimes with our twin flame, if one has kids but the other doesn't, when you get together, your kids meld if both of you have kids, or if one of you has kids, your kids will meld together, and they will meld with both partners too, almost like they are both of your children. So it's like those souls, you have all agreed to play this role and incarnate together. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if you're not one that is really desiring children at this stage of your life, you might find that with your twin flames kids, it's actually easier than if they were anybody else's kids, because they're almost like your children. They might have not come from your body and not from your blood, but soul-wise, you might feel a deep bond with them like you've never felt with other children. So just keep that in mind. Oftentimes, blended families with twin flames works very, very well because of that soul bond connection. So I just say, you know what? Go with the flow. Let things develop as they are, much like you're already doing. Honoring yourself and going, yeah, no, I don't want to be a third wheel. If you want to be with me, you be with me, not this sort of in between thing. And if he decides down the road he's ready to be in connection with you, then you might find that it's actually quite easy to have his kids involved in your life. It's not the burden that you're kind of concerned it might be. So, just some thoughts.
In the choice of relationship or not, I wouldn't let the thought of kids being around get in the way.
Yeah.
Choose relationship.
Yeah. Agree.
Yeah. Next question?
Yeah.
The next question could take us all the rest.
I was just going to actually say, I wonder if we should address that in a different one, because I've answered this person privately, but I do want to have a video discussion about this because there is more and more of it, but I agree. It could...
There's a clock around here somewhere.
Yeah, two of them. One there.
Let's give this one 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Oh boy.
With the thought that we're probably going to have to expand it later with a greater conversation.
Okay.
What do you have to say about when your twin dies? There isn't really much out there on that. That's probably because a lot of people don't want to face that. Now I'm going to get myself in trouble. What are you going to do when I die?
Well, we're not going to go there because that's a whole tangent. We've had that talk.
Yeah.
What they're addressing more is when your twin dies before you get to union. So...
Oh, is that what that
yes.
is?
Yes.
Well, geez, this is why this is a whole new video on its own. One question, 14 different angles.
I know, we could do just a video on that, but I'm going to address some little things about it, and then we can expound if we have more questions.
I'm going to let you start on this one.
Okay. I actually now have communicated personally with 3 different people who've had this experience. They've never been in union with their twin flame, like long-term union. They've had reunion and stuff. And their twin flame has passed away. So much like any other experience in the twin flame dynamic, we choose our challenges. So whether it's age differences, or sex similarities, same sex, connections, long distance issues, where you're halfway across the world from each other, cultural differences, religious differences. This is another one of those challenges. Why we're choosing all of these different experiences as twin flames is to show the world that love is love is love. It doesn't matter if we're from a different culture. It doesn't matter if we're the same or different sex. It doesn't matter if we're a different religion, all of those things. But same thing if one of you is on earth and one of you is in spirit. That connection never dies. Just because your twin flame dies, the connection doesn't die. I have a sweet, sweet lady that I've been connecting with. She's become quite a wonderful friend. She has had her twin flame pass away before they got to union. And their connection is just as strong now, if not stronger. They have such strong telepathy. She feels him. She gets nudges from him as to when to look at things, and his guidance is very strong. So they are in union, just not what we all imagine union is. And I think that's another piece of why the twin flame, one may die before the other and before union, is to help people understand what union really is. Does union have to be physical?
No.
Because most of the time in previous lives, we didn't incarnate together. One stayed in spirit while one stayed on earth, so we could assist each other in our journey. Same thing now. And I know it kind of sucks, and I've probably gone way over my time already. Okay,
Not yet.
Okay, good. I know it must suck when your twin does pass away before you've experienced physical union, because that's what everybody yearns for, right? That's what everybody wants. But it's to show the world that your connection is never, ever broken. So just know that you can still complete your mission if one of you is on earth and the other one is in spirit. You can still have a magical love because you still do. You're still connected. In fact, from what I've been told, there's even a deeper connection because the other person is such a strong, well, no, they're not a person, they're a spirit, but they have such a strong energy that they can come through even stronger to the person that's incarnated. So know that, yes, it does happen, but it doesn't mean your life is over. It doesn't mean that you're not in union. There's my very short version.
Okay.
Okay.
That was most of our 5 minutes.
Perfect.
I'm just not going to comment any further.
Okay.
You did a really good 4-minute and 45-second version of an
Yay!
answer for that question. Next question.
Okay.
The past week I was dealing with this strange feeling for me. I was so angry, with no reason. I thought it was coming from my past. To be honest, I'm never angry. So I meditated on my inner child. She was an early teen, and that was a very difficult period of my life. And she was extremely angry. What she told is that she felt so hurt and lonely and didn't have my twin flame beside her to help. Now I feel less angry, but I'm afraid that I'm just hiding it instead of working on it. I don't know how to manage this aspect. Yeah, the angle of masking versus adjusting, dealing, and changing. Sometimes a mask makes things feel better, but it's also, it doesn't move healing backwards, but it also doesn't usually let healing move forward very far either. How do you tell if you're masking something and just dealing with it, putting it into a happy place, or as happy place as it's going to be, versus actually working on something? My thought is that if you're masking, you're also not allowing it to be challenged. If something's a bit of an open wound, if something's a bit of a trigger, if you're going to have some understanding as to whether or not it's healing or not, sometimes you got to let it be challenged to see whether things are truly different. Not necessarily better or worse. See if they're different than what they were. See if there's been some change. Usually when someone throws a mask on something, they protect it from everything, and they just hope it's working its way through. There's no chance to challenge it. Cool. So how do you know if you're challenging or not? Or, sorry, healing or not? It's about whether or not you're allowing challenges or not.
First thing I wanted to address with this is congratulations. I loved that the first thing you did was meditated on your inner child. Wow.
Yes.
Do you know how, like, I can't even find the right words. How wowie. We'll go with that. How wowie that is. That's actually, like, such a great step. Most people, when they feel something that they don't like, they push it away. However they choose to, with eating, drugs, alcohol, like they stuff it down, right? We're not taught to look at our feelings and feel them in society. We're taught to, oh, if we don't like it, get rid of it. You did the perfect thing. Not only did you meditate, but you went deep with your inner child, and you even connected with the age she was at and why the anger was there. So celebrate that, first of all. Second piece, she's saying, now I feel less angry, but I'm afraid that I'm just hiding it instead of working on it. The thing about feelings is they are the language of the soul. Our feelings are always going to guide us. So if you're aware enough to have felt it to begin with, you're going to be aware if you're still feeling it, if it's going to come back up again. If you're feeling less angry, know that that's because you've actually done the work. You've done some deep healing. You've actually connected with your inner child and understood why she was angry. And you've given her a voice, and just giving her a voice has helped clear some of that anger already. So sure, you might be less angry, and that might be all the work you need to do. So just trust that your feelings will be your guide. If you're feeling angry again, or next time maybe you're feeling sad or hurt or scared, you now have a great tool. You know what to do. You meditate, you connect with your inner child, you get your answers. So always trust your feelings, or I'll say in this case, the lack thereof. If you have less anger, in my opinion, it doesn't mean you're masking it, you're hiding it. It simply means you've done some work. You've let out some of that anger and it's been healed. Doesn't mean it's healed completely. We always do everything in an onion layer, right? So don't ever worry that, oh my God, it's like, have I done the work? There's always work to do.
Yeah.
But let your feelings be your guide, especially because you're in tune enough to know what you feel. So just follow that.
Also, for this person, yes, I agree. Congratulations on starting out with meditation.
I think that's awesome.
There's so much right about how this seems to be flowing. I think this person just needs a little bit more.
You're torturing the dog. You can't hold the ball.
Okay. I think this person just needs a little nudge of confidence. They've done so many things that sound right to begin with. I agree. They just need to trust that they're going to continue to be doing something that is of value and just keep on going with the flow.
Yep.
Yeah, just a little verbal yay. Way to go.
Totally. And you obviously have a relationship with your inner child for all of that information to come out, because your inner child won't give you that until they have a trust level with you. They are you, but you know what I mean, working with your inner child. So you have that deep connection with them. That's fabulous.
So should I go to the longer one or should I go to a shorter one?
This one, I've taken out some of the in-between detail that's kind of not needed for the actual question, so it's not as long.
Okay.
Yeah. We should probably just keep them in order.
That was my hint.
Well, and I just figure it's easier if we keep them in order. It's also easier for me when I copy and paste all of this into the video blurb so people know if their question has been answered.
Okay.
I don't have to move them around and keep track of which one we answered in what order. Now you know my tricks.
I like the first line of the question for sure. I was wondering if you could do a video answer on some advice on how to not spook our TF when we come back into communication. That right there is just enough to continue on without any little bit of background story.
You know what? We probably could not even read the rest of the background story.
But I kind of want to anyway.
Okay.
It says, I'm just getting back in communication with my twin after over a year of separation. We met up for most of the afternoon talking and had lunch, and it went very well. We both realized how much we missed each other, but as you know, this time apart was necessary for both of us.
Yes.
He started going through his dark night of the soul last year after our separation and the passing of his black lab dog, who was like his shadow and best friend. It's neat how a black lab was like a shadow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to dwell on that.
It's interesting you picked that up.
I felt in the past he only wanted me around when nothing else was going well. This was the main reason for our separation. Maybe this was my insecurities, but I would like to put it all behind me. I have to be of understanding and don't want to spook him.
Yeah. Do you want to go first on that one, or do you want me to? Okay, I'll go.
You better go first.
Okay, when you have that long of a pause, that means I better go first.
Yeah, you better go first.
Okay, so basic question is, how do you not spook your twin flame when you're coming back into communication? Great question.
Depends upon which dimension you're talking about, too.
Well, normally you can't really spook them in 5D because you're connecting 5D to 5D, and the 5D self doesn't really get spooked. But the 3D self, yeah, for sure. So you can't do anything about how your twin flame's going to react. You can only manage yourself, your actions, and your energy. So the first thing I would recommend is before you're going to reconnect. I mean, obviously, if you're going to reconnect by text or stuff, you don't necessarily know when that is. But if you're going to reconnect in person, or if you've started a text communication or email or whatever, manage your energy. So be very aware. How's my energy coming off? Am I giving too much? Am I not giving enough? Am I in balance? So you can choose. If your twin flame texts you and you don't feel like you're in a centered place, get centered first. Do whatever you need to do to get centered, whether it's a walk in nature, whether it's meditating, whether it's a shower to clear your energy, whether it's smudging. Who knows? Whatever works for you. But find your center first, because if you come from a centered place, then you help them also come from a centered place because you're connected, you're mirrors. But also, if your energy is centered, then you're not taking too much from them and you're not giving too much from them or to them. You're balanced. And if they feel that balance, then they feel less spooked. They feel more comfortable that, okay, I'm not going to get triggered by this person because they're not in a unstable place. They just feel more comfortable. Even if they're not consciously aware of it, we all read energy. Even if we don't know we're reading it, we feel each other. And your twin flame, if anybody's going to feel you, it's your twin flame. So when you're coming from an unbalanced energy, they feel that. And that's what spooks them. It's either because you're giving too much and it's too intense and they want to go, whoa, back off. Or you're the one pulling away and then they're going, what the hell's the problem? Like, don't you want to connect? So then they're questioning everything. So that's my biggest advice. Manage your energy and also expectations. I won't get into too much of that, but
Angie approached me in almost the best way that she could. To make a long story very short, she allowed me to express whether I was ready to be back in contact and whether I was ready to have more information than I was maybe prepared to understand was going to be coming at me. And it gave me a chance to reflect on whether or not I was ready to be hit with some hard questions. And of course, the questions ended up being on whether or not I was willing to understand twin flameism and how it works. But by asking me the questions, I was able to respond, and she was able to read my level of confidence and connectedness, and therefore she was able to come back in an appropriate way that she had a hint as to how I was able to, or how much I was able to absorb. So maybe make sure that you have some idea what the level of 3D connectedness your twin is capable of handling.
I like that.
Yeah. So just being direct as to what you're intending to have this communication look like and finding out whether or not the person's ready.
Yeah. Yeah. For example, in this situation, his dog just died. So he's probably not in a place where he's wanting a whole lot of deep emotional connection with you in terms of our relationship and our love, because he's grieving over his dog. He really probably doesn't care too much about the connection at that point.
He's pretty absorbed.
Yeah.
And maybe he's not in a great mind space either.
Yeah.
Maybe his poor wounded grieving heart is just not ready to have any real deep relationship bits thrown at it right now.
Yeah. And he might be very self-absorbed. So you might be going into the connection going, oh yay, he's going to be all loving and connected, and then he's coming from a place of, no, I can't give you anything because I'm sad, I'm grieving. That may just be a scenario. I don't know what the whole situation is there. But just an example is, again, manage your expectations too, right? Not just managing your energy, but manage your expectations. Go in with just allowing it to be what it is instead of, oh, it's going to be like full reunion and we're getting back together and he's going to wake up and or she or whoever and this is it. Be always very careful of that. The minute we think this is it, it's not it. And then we go crashing down.
That's a life lesson for you that's going on right now.
Oh.
And Angie's really good at getting all super excited over something. Then when she gets into it, it's, yeah, it was okay. Usually it's related around something chocolate. Wow, this is going to be a great new flavor. Then tried. It was okay. Expectations, reality.
I don't have twin flame expectations. I have food expectations.
She has food expectations.
That's funny. All right.
So, yes, we're a little focused on managing expectations lately. But then again, what good is well, there's such a thing called hope, too. Hope is an abundance of expectation.
I was going to say managed hope is good. Hope is great, but manage with balance.
Is overmanaged hope pessimism? Or is it just lack of ability to manifest?
I don't know. We're not going to go there.
There's another 25-minute to 45-minute video.
By the way, for somebody who's excessively tired, you're doing excellent.
Oh.
Yeah, you're way better than I was at our last question answer. I couldn't keep it together. You had to read my answers. Thank God I keep little notes because
I have no idea.
I wasn't together.
I have no idea what I said 2 questions ago. I'm going to have to watch this video all over again to find out what I was saying.
Yeah, but you channel. You excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do good.
That's what I do?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden stuff comes to me.
Yep.
I suppose that's called channeling.
It is. You're brilliant.
Or my channel directors are brilliant. I just speak.
Your channel directors. Okay, let's go.
Next questions?
Yeah, because I could go on and on about channel directors. I like that. We might have to reuse that word.
I don't even know where I got that from. They just labeled themselves.
Your channel directors just communicate. They gave themselves a name.
Channel directors.
They're not Abraham, they're channel directors.
I have this picture of this 1971 Zenith TV with, the dial, channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Through 13.
Some of us aren't that old.
Some of us would have no idea. Oh, I could talk about old TVs for a long time, but that's not why I'm here.
No, carry on.
Would you share your thoughts on my idea that I should stop contacting my twin because I should leave room for God to work on him, and that it's better not to interfere in my twin's growth? After surrendering, what would I work on to move forward on the TF journey? Yourself. You've got nothing else after you surrender when it comes to your twin other than working on yourself and making sure you leave the 5D communications open. Also, don't work on, I'm going to have to say it, don't work on cutting cords.
Yes.
Yeah. That's
don't go there.
That's a very difficult thing to accomplish.
So now in terms of, would you share your thoughts on the idea that I should stop contacting my twin because I should leave room for God to work on him? Okay, so in terms of contacting or not contacting your twin, there's no one answer because it's different for every person, it's different for every dynamic, and it's different for every situation. You might be guided to not contact them for a time period because maybe they're going through something, maybe you're going through something. And then you might be guided to contact them later because you need each other or they need something, you need something. It totally, totally depends. So there's just no one cookie cutter answer. This is why, and I gotta say it, this is why I always say, go within. Because that's the only place where you're going to get that answer to know when or if you should or should not contact your twin. Sometimes we need to honor the separation and be completely separate. I'll just knock over the clipboard. I'm getting exuberant here with my hands. We need to be completely separate. Look, it's a pretty pink clipboard at least. in order to do our own healing work. And like you say, for God to work within them, yes, sometimes the separation is absolutely part of the process because you have to focus inwards. But sometimes you may be guided to connect with them. Maybe it's just to say a simple something and then pull away. Who knows? So just honor your own inner guidance. Learn to connect with your own inner guidance, and it will help you move forward. Had I not had my own inner guidance, I would not have followed the nudges that were telling me it was time to tell Rob we were twin flames and we might not be together because if I didn't listen. So always, 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 we are our best person to know what we need to do. Now, as far as, sorry, did you want to say something on that?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I kind of have four places that your twin can be touched. One is directly through spirit. One is them working on themselves. One is you working on your twin directly with them, and the last one is working on yourself and that growth within yourself. Also, then, as Angie's been talking about, then reaches over and branches over and works on your twin. The last two are very, very similar, but one is you directly working on yourself to allow that work to go over, and one is working on your twin, not yourself, sending the energy directly. So, so to leave room for God to work on your twin, for spirit to work on your twin, that to me is a quarter of the kind of work that can happen. And most likely, these quarters are not equal. It's usually the inner work done on oneself that ends up being the bigger piece of the pie, the piece that makes the biggest difference. You get your biggest aha moments usually when you figure out something on your own. So I'm going to call the work you do on yourself to be 50% of the pie. Then the other three pieces, you could call them equal thirds, but each situation, as Angie also said, has its own dynamic. It's all individual.
Well, yes, but I also want to address, like, because this is a masculine, so many people fear that, oh my God, my masculine's not doing conscious work like I am. I'm studying and I'm taking all these courses and I'm watching all these videos and I'm reading all these books and they're just living their happy little life. There's a question about that, and we're going to do it in our next question answer video because it's awesome.
Now,
But I was just going to say that the masculine doesn't always do the work consciously. Like you weren't going to healings like I was, reading books and all of that. You did your healing very differently, but you still did it. You weren't even consciously aware sometimes that you were doing it. So I like your piece of the pie thing. I'm just saying not always does the masculine do it consciously, and nor do they have to. Just by having time apart, they can be doing the work.
I have met very few people who are not doing any work at all. Even if you're just trying to just improve yourself on a straight human to human basis. Maybe you speak with a forked tongue and you realize you hurt people's feelings, so you try to be more empathetic. And if that's all a person's doing, they're still working on themselves. So people are always working on themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, anytime they're in contact with anybody else, it's probably a form of learning experience for them. So what I'm focusing on here is the word, is it better not to interfere
Gotcha.
with my twin's growth?
Gotcha.
I really don't know whether a person should be that afraid of interfering with their twin's growth. Not saying that everybody should be out there trying to contact their twin 3 times a day, even though they're still in some form of separation. Kind of defeats a different purpose.
Yeah.
But if a person's really being nudged hard to be in contact, the rules of manifesting would say you wouldn't call it something more negative like interfering. you would call it an opportunity for positive result. So don't think of it as interfering. If you're feeling that nudge, treat it as a positive
I like that.
and go with it.
Yeah. Okay. How are we for time?
45 even.
Okay. You need to leave shortly to get to badminton on time. Do you want to do one more, or do you want to end there?
I think that we actually had a real good finish point on that one.
Okay.
I really liked that last question. I'd call that a positive note if we stopped. Let's stop.
Okay, we're in agreement. We will be back in another, of course, question and answer with more. So if your question wasn't in this one, it will be in the next one or the one after that. We still have another full 2 pages of questions, so probably another 2 videos at this point. Today is March 27th.
27th.
So if it's the 27th and you have asked a question and it hasn't been answered,
It's
know
coming up.
that it's coming up in one of the next 2 videos. If you ask a question after today, it'll be
Maybe
who
the
knows
third
when.
one.
Yeah.
Still keep asking questions. It's sometimes very, very fun to go through some of these questions. I actually do read the odd one now. I used to never, ever read them.
Pre-read.
Pre-read.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to only just go straight into them during the question and answer. I pre-read once in a while now.
Yes, you do.
Angie leaves them out.
All right. Sorry, I
I've
cut
got-
you off.
I've got a curiosity.
Yes.
I do.
I was just cutting you off so you can get to badminton
Okay.
and I can upload the video without distraction.
It's time to go.
We love you guys. We are so honored to connect with you, and we will be back with more soon enough. I'm going to say that. Our dear friend that we met in Orlando, she says soon enough. I'm going to borrow her soon enough instead of soon. I like it.
Yes.
We'll connect again soon enough. Bye.
Bye.